Hey guys, what's up? So it's that time again. It's time for the yearly HO scale fleet update. So starting off, how we've probably started off the last two videos, we've got the sealed yellow roof here with the error on the back where it's got no black paint around the rear warning lights. So that's something I've kept packaged because I thought it was a pretty neat factory error. So that's the first thing. Nothing's changed with that, but it's something to include in the video since it is a part of the HO scale collection. Alright, so moving on to the actual fleet. There are a few new additions this year. Well, more than a few actually. And then there are a few subtle changes within the fleet, so we'll go ahead and start looking. A lot of these buses are the same as they were the year before. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So the first one is Bus 1, which that bus has been around for the last two updates. The next bus is Bus 2, which I don't think Bus 2 was here last year because I don't think I had put it into service. Bus 2 had started out as a bus that Adam gave me with little details on it. And this bus, he had stuff on it that, like a Q series ID and stuff like that, that I just really didn't want to include it in the fleet with that kind of stuff because it really wouldn't line up with all the other ID numbers. But I decided to change the ID number. As you can see, it's now like an ID that would belong to a first gen of the time. And now it's just in service as 2, and it's got our made-up company, my made-up company and his made-up company combined. You get integrated transit. So yeah, and it's got Warren County on there, and then stop on the back, of course. But yeah, that's 2. So the next bus is 3, and 3 is definitely new because last year 3 was the Trident Chevy van bus. And I had mentioned last year that I went ahead and brought that bus back into service, but I decided it was time to retire and replace that for good. So 3 is just your typical Walther's remake of the Boley bus, and it just says ATA ink on it. There's, I think, 3 or 4 of these that are ATA ink that I got for my birthday, so they're all within the same ID series. The next bus is Bus 4. Bus 4 has been in the past updates, so nothing special there. Bus 5 has changed. So last year, 5 would have been a first gen, and now it is a Bluebird S series. Because the old 5 was getting kind of, it was one of my earliest models, and I decided it was time to replace it, and I replaced it with this S series. It just says Lebanon City Schools. It's not actually modeled after any kind of real bus Lebanon ever had, but it's just something I put on my blank models. So that's 5. That is a new addition. The next few buses here are all buses that have been in the previous updates. So you have 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nothing's changed with those, but you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is that Ford Wayne looking bus. So that one's still around. But that'll probably be one of the next buses to get replaced, honestly. So next year it may be something else. The next few buses are, you've got 11, 12, 14, and 15. So 11, 12, and 14 are the Bluebirds, and nothing's changed with them. But 15 has something kind of different. So with a few of these models, I switched out the bottom, just kind of like I did on Little 50. I switched out the bottom wheels with black wheels from a white roof bus. 15 was modeled after 50 before it was 50, and when it was 15, so that's what it looked like when it started out its service life. But now it's got the black wheels, so it just looks a little bit more realistic. I wanted to do that with 16, but 16 and some of the other buses have the base where you've got 2 screws in the back, and the white roof buses don't have that, so you would have 2 open holes in the bottom, and that just, I didn't want to do that. So I didn't switch that out. 18 was the same way, but there's 17. 17 is one of the buses I didn't end up using its base like for another bus. This is what I talk about when I'm talking about white roofs, because they have the black wheels, and I do think giving the yellow roofs black wheels makes them look a little bit more realistic, at least for me, and what they're being modeled after. You've got 18. We no longer have the real 18. It got replaced with a 2023 CE and was sold off last year, or not last year, last school year, but it was sold off in May. So there's 18. You've got 19, 20, 21, and 22. Those are all Bluebird S series. 21 is the bus with 2 stop signs, which it's always been like that. Well, it hasn't always been like that, but it's been like that since the last updates. So that's not really a new thing, but it's there. So yeah, there you go. So you got 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Nothing's changed with any of those buses. But 27 is actually the old 59, because I believe I told the story about how 59 lost its rear axle in the last video while I was moving, and I could never find it, so I sold it on eBay. Well, then I had to end up sending another bus in its place. So what I ended up doing is I had to send my old 27 in 59's place, so 59 kind of refilled that number way after the fact, and I think maybe one of these other buses was, I thought one of my wrecked buses was a 27, but I'm thinking of 26, so never mind. But yeah, so this is the same bus, 59. I updated the wheels with some extra wheels that I had. It's got Renegade Transit on it, and it's 27. So, like I said last year, I did have the stuff to put this bus back together, and I did, and I ended up using it to refill the number 27 spot. Next 2 buses are 28 and 29. Those 2 we no longer own, like the real buses that they're modeled after. They also got sold off in May. So those haven't changed. You've got 30, 31, and 32. Nothing's changed with those, but 33 is kind of an updated thing. So some of you may remember I had a blank yellow roof that just said Laidlaw. Well, this is that bus. I decided to give it a number, and I left Laidlaw on it just for, because I liked the way it looked, and why not? And I did give it an ID number, as you can see. So this bus finally got a number and all that kind of stuff. So this is 33, because that was a number I needed to refill, so I went ahead and did that with that. 34, 35, and 36 are new additions. Those are the newer version, like the Walters remake. They both say Lebanon City Schools, but are not actually modeled after anything, because we never had a 35 and 36 first gen. But they're there, and they filled in those number spots. You got 37, 38, and 39. So 38 is a new addition. It's just your standard county school district number 4 bus with the green seats. 38, again, just a refill or a spot filler. Nothing special with that. 39, however, it's another new addition, and 39 actually took the place of a 39 I got. Like, I actually got this bus with 38 when I bought them. But 38 had some issues, and I'll get to that when we get to the out-of-service buses. But I went ahead and replaced it, so it wouldn't have been in the last update, because 38 and 39 are new additions. But 39, you'll notice, actually has the numbers stacked on the hood, and that's just kind of to pay homage to old 39 from Lebanon, because that's how that was on that bus. And this just says ATA Inc., so it's not actually modeled after anything in particular. So that's 39. Alright, so moving on, we've got 40, which is modeled after our 40, or our old 40 rather. And some of you may know that 40 was replaced, and then they decided to keep 40, and old 40 got the lettering old 40 put on the side of it. That is not something I'm doing to my 40, because A, I don't have a new 40, and B, me personally, if I got involved in that situation, I'd be renumbering one of those buses, so this model will not have old put on it. But yeah, that's 40. Then you have 41 and 42, which I've had both of those. They're just, Bluebird Herpas. Nothing too special about them. 43 is modeled after our old 43, which is another bus we sold off in May. So that's one of the handful of buses in my fleet that are modeled after first gens that we no longer have, which to me is still weird. Next bus is 44. This is a new addition since the last update, and this just says Unified School District number 2. But nothing special, just your regular Bluebird Herpabird, and it's numbered 44. And that was another bus that I used to fill in an empty spot, because if you didn't know, I'm trying to fill in all the numbers from 1 to 100 in my HO scale lineup. So right now I've got 1 to 52 filled. So we're just, we're slowly filling things as I buy stuff, or however I want to do it. But yeah, so that's 44. Next bus is 45. I've had that one. So the next 3 are all new additions. You've got 46, 47, and 48, which is kind of ironic, because in the real world, we just got a new 46, 47, and 48 after those numbers were left open for about 5 years each. So these are all just regular. I'm pretty sure they all say. Okay, so 46 says Lebanon City Schools. 40. Well, no, I think I had 47 last year. I may be jumping the gun on that one. But 46 and 48 are new. So I actually think I had 47 last year, because it replaced a Bluebird, like a Herpa Bluebird that I had. But I honestly kind of forgot about that. So that says Lebanon City Schools. But 48, I think, just says, yeah, ATA Inc. So nothing special with either 46 or 48, since they are the 2 new ones. I totally forgot about 47 already existing. Yeah, so next one is 49. Then we got 50 and 51. You guys all know 50 is modeled after 50. And that is what I call Little 50. And Little 50's been the bus to have the black wheels since, God, I don't know. It's had those black wheels for the majority of the time I've had it. And that bottom actually came from the old Bus 5, which ended up with black wheels again because I did some switching around of the bases. But yeah, that's where that originated from. The next bus next to 50 is, well, I already said 51, but there's 51. The next bus is 52. 52 is a new addition, and 52 does say ATA Inc. Warren County, which I'm pretty sure I modeled this one to be a sister to 45, if I remember correctly. But this one is a new addition, and again, it's another bus that, I'm just using to fill in those numbers like I'm trying to. So no, like, this particular bus is not actually modeled after anything, and it has one of my made-up companies on it anyways. But yeah, that is 52. The next bus is 56, and I know I had 56 last year, but this is the Yellow Roof Washington High School bus, which is pretty interesting because most of the time, with the exception of this one bus, the Washington High School buses have white roofs. So I have not seen another yellow roof Washington High School bus. So that's pretty cool. And then we have 58 and 59. Those were here last year, so nothing special. You'll see 66 and 67 here have the different wheels, because these are two buses I use to change out buses with black wheels. So those have the gray, silver, whatever you want to call them, wheels on them now. That's kind of a minor update for those. Then we have 69 and 70. Those two are identical. They are the blank version of the white roof Herpas, and they both say Lebanon City Schools. Alright, so continuing on, we have 71 and 72. These two are like 66 and 67. They got their bottoms switched out, so they have the different version of wheels on them. So that's kind of the little update for those. Nothing else has changed. Then we have 78. That is my only white roof Herpa with a black hood on it. And then we have 79 and 81. So these two got black wheels because the real versions of those buses had black wheels, obviously. We just got rid of 79 in May, so we no longer have it. But we still have 81, and the only difference between this bus, well, I mean, there are other differences, but the real 81 lost its crossarm over the summer, so no, it does not have a crossarm. But it has black wheels, so it looks a little bit more realistic. And then we have 84, which also got the black wheels added, and 84 was also sold off in May. So that's just another bus that I went ahead and modeled with the black wheels to make it look a little bit more like the real thing, since 84 was the first bus I rode in Lebanon. The next bus is 91. We haven't had 91 for over a year now. Nothing special with that. So we have the last three, and that is 171, 181, and 281. So those are all buses modeled after 28, 34, and 37 before they were renumbered. And this summer I kind of learned the reasoning behind these numbers. So those three actually came from the same school district before we had them. And 171 was 17, 181 was 18, and 281 was 28. And since we had those numbers already when we got them, they just put a 1 next to them, so that way they could just go right into service. And I guess they just really didn't feel like renumbering them. But they did eventually get renumbered when we bought all the buses out of the contract from First Student. So, yeah. So that's all of the in-service school buses. We're going to go ahead and look at the out-of-service stuff next. Alright, so moving on to the out-of-service retired buses, we've got 3. The old the Chevy Trident van bus, which was replaced with the CE. I haven't marked anything out on it. It's just out of service because it is my only Trident, so I don't want to mess it up in any way. Then we have what used to be bus 5. So last year it was not completely out of service. I mean, it still had all its markings on it, but I went ahead and took all the markings off and all that kind of fun stuff. So now it just looks... My plan with this was to make it look like a schoolie conversion in progress, and I actually popped all the seats out. Not sure if you can see that. The stop sign, and I forgot to mention this when we looked at it, but the stop sign off of this went to 58 because 58's original stop sign was all screwy. And that's in last year's video if you want to see what I'm talking about. But basically, this is 5, and it's basically in the stages of becoming a conversion. I actually thought about modeling this, like repainting it and trying to make it look as much like a schoolie as I could, but I haven't gotten around to doing that. That next bus is, it used to be 11 way back when, but I've been using it for modification trials and stuff like that. So you can see I tried out black door frames and black hood and all that kind of stuff. So that's been around. You got 24, which has also been around for a while. 26, I'm pretty sure that was in last year's video. that was a case of the front axle being bent up, and I didn't have an axle to replace it, so I decided to model the bus after a wrecked bus, and so it got body damage, and then I replaced it with an FS65. 30's been around for years, and it's always been wrecked. And then there's 39. So this is the 39 I was talking about earlier that was not in last year's video. So you'll see this side of the bus, and it looks fine and normal and all that kind of stuff. But then you will go to this side of the bus, and you will see that it is, I don't feel like the camera's picking it up well enough, but this side of the bus was in some sunlight or something, because it is a darker yellow. Like, I don't think the camera is picking it up well enough, but it's darker than the other side. And I could have redone the rub rails, but I just thought, you know what, it'll be a perfect junk bus. And this way I have an extra stop sign for a Herpa if I ever need it, and it just adds to my retired bus lineup for, effect or, detail, whatever. The next bus is interesting because this one was on eBay, and it's pretty well trashed. It's definitely damaged. But I bought it because it was only like $8 or something. And I thought, you know what, this will be a perfect bus to use to model, just a wrecked CE or something. So I modeled this one after nothing in particular. I just kind of gave it the number 88. So technically there is an 88 in the fleet. It's just out of service. This bus didn't have a stop sign. I went ahead and marked out the side to make it look like it was lettered at one point, but the lettering got marked out. But yeah, you can see it's missing mirrors, cross arm. It has a little bit left of this mirror. It's all beat up. I mean, the bus has no actual body damage, but it just looks in rough shape, so I figured why not model it as out of service. So that's 88. One of these days I'm going to get something to replace it so it looks like it was, retired and replaced with something. And then the last bus is just a Herpa Promotex bus that got destroyed. Adam bought it, and long story short, it ended up like that in the mail. It got smashed, and that's how he got it. So he sent it to me because he knew I could use it for an out-of-service bus or background detail or whatever. So, yeah, that is the out-of-service buses. Next, we're going to take a look at the activity buses / multiple variations of Herpas, and yeah. Alright, so moving on to the next set of buses, we've got all the different versions of the Herpas that I've got, plus a few activity non-school bus CEs. So the first one is the blue Helping Hands bus, and all these buses I've had except for the one at the very end, but I'll just kind of show them. Got the Helping Hands bus, we've got the U.S. Army Herpa, the Ground Search and Rescue bus, Maintenance of Way bus, there's the prison bus, the Peace and Love hippie bus, the Camp Wobogan bus, we got the church bus. That is 108. It was my very first HOCE. It has seen better days, but now it acts as a crew bus of sorts. So yeah. And then we've got a blue CE that I painted, because that was originally my 79 years ago. Somehow it got a big chunk of paint missing out of it, so I decided to paint it red. And then I repainted it blue later on, and that's what you have now. Now, the bus next to it, this is a new addition. I had some of these years ago, but then I sold them. But this one is this is the Maintenance of Way Walters bus. This bus is just modeled after a charter bus. You can see it says ATA Charters, and it's numbered 401. So, any of these that I get that are the white version of the CE will be in the 400 number series. Since I already, my trucks are all in the 200s, and I'm doing 1 to 100 with the school buses, and I can't remember why I skipped the 300s, but or maybe the trucks are the 300s. Let me see here. Yeah, the trucks are the 300s. I don't know what I was doing in the 200s, but yeah, that's why those are the 400s. So yeah, I mean it's just done up as a charter bus, and it's numbered 401, and yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. But yeah, that's the new addition to the activity buses, and that wraps up the activity multiple versions, whatever you want to call them, the non-school buses. That's what we'll call them. So yeah, next we're gonna go ahead and look at the HO scale trucks, and yeah. All right, so moving on to the trucks. All these trucks have numbers, but they don't all necessarily have the numbers on them. Some of them do, and some of them don't. So the first one is 301, and that's the red Durastar tow truck. I've had that one for years. 302 is the yellow crew cab Durastar dump truck. Then we have our two Western Star tow trucks, and that would be 303 and 304. The green International dump truck there is 305. And then this truck, which last year I accidentally called it 120 when I had it numbered 130 and didn't catch it until after the video was uploaded. Well, this year it's got a completely different number. It's 306 now. And this has the flatbed trailer that you can put a bus on. So that's pretty cool, but that is 306. I think I put a number in the back of it, in the back behind the cab there. Yeah, but yeah, that is 306. Okay, so moving on, we have 307, which is the yellow Workstar. It was originally an electrical truck, but the boom broke on me, so I just kind of turned it into a like a utility truck, to where, like, you know, you pick up parts with it or whatever, go out on a call, whatever. So that's what it is now. The next truck is 308, which that's just a Workstar Seagrave fire truck. Then we have the two snowplows I bought, which that is 309 and 310. Those two are something I thought, you know what, I mean, I know I don't have a layout and there's no actual snow anywhere, but I thought, in a service fleet of trucks for school buses, why not get some snowplows? And these snowplows have a fantastic blue color on them, and I think I got them for like $20 for the both of them, so I thought that was a pretty good deal. But they are nice little trucks. I mean, they've got a working plow. You got the back of the truck, Internationals on the door, and you got this little piece back here that moves a little bit. Got your little light, and I mean I think that's pretty cool. So I do like those, and I'm glad I was able to get those two trucks for the fleet. And the next truck is something that, for the longest time, I told myself I'm not going to get the GMC Top Kick because I want the Internationals. I don't care for those the Top Kicks. I don't care for them. I don't need one. Well, finally, I thought, you know what? With as many of HOCEs as I've got and HO scale vehicles I have, I may as well get one of these. So I did go ahead and get one of these GMC Top Kick trucks. This one actually has a little bit of weathering on it. You probably can't tell in the video, but like it's got whatever weathering dirt road spray that you can use on these models to make them look like they're weathered. It's definitely got it on it, because the cab is not smooth like it should be. Like, it's got a rough texture to it. But this is just a stake bed, dual axle. Thought, you know what, it's yellow. It could be a parts hauler or something like that. But just something a little different for the fleet of service trucks for the buses. So yeah. Next truck is our International box truck. Nothing's changed with that. And then we've got our U-Haul trucks. We've got a 4000 series U-Haul truck. And then we've got our two Herpa S-series U-Haul trucks. And the S-series U-Haul trucks are cool because their doors actually open up in the back. And I think that's a pretty cool feature. So those are the service trucks for the fleet of school buses. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at cars and vehicles that are not trucks that I've got in HO scale. Alright, so moving on to the cars. There are two new additions this year, but we'll go ahead and look through them first. We got the Cadillac Taxi Cab, Plymouth Fury police car, and then the Caprice police cars. And we got the Chrysler Voyager minivan taxi. And then we have a Ohio State Highway Patrol Crown Vic. And then we've got our Tauruses, which this year I have one new one. And this one is supposed to be midnight red is the color. I mean, it probably looks black on camera, but if you get it real close in the light, it is kind of red. So that's a new addition. And then we have our T-Bird, Mercedes-Benz, and then 2 Chevy Caprices. And then one that I just got not too long ago that I'm pretty happy to have because it's a 90s era vehicle that looks good with the Bluebirds, is this Chevy Blazer. So these Blazers, for some reason, usually go for a lot of money or just don't pop up very often. But this black one actually popped up, and I think it was, I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it was pretty reasonable. So I picked it up, and now I have one of these to model with. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the HO Scale Fleet update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of stuff that I've got within this fleet of vehicles. Mainly school buses, but of course I do have the trucks and the cars, and you know, I figure if I'm going to show you the buses, I may as well show you all of them, because I'm sure some of you probably find them interesting. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see how much this fleet changes between now and next year's video. So yeah, thanks. Oh, oops. Hold on. Stop it. Hold on. Stop the bus. I left out 2 vehicles, and I'm just now seeing this. We got this Crown Victoria MTA Police, which you guys have seen that before. But this was actually another new addition. This is just a white Chevy Caprice. Nothing special there. Just something I found at the hobby store last time I was there, and it was reasonably priced, so I went ahead and picked it up. But yeah, now this is finally it. I swear, there's nothing else. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think, and yeah.